Today we have a 2015 Nissan NV200. I did AC work on this car. This is basically like a work minivan, and everything was working okay. Then we realized that one of the cooling fans does not work. This one has a dual fan, one on the left, one on the right side, and one on a right side. One on the passenger side doesn't work, this one here. You can see that this is a kind of fairly complicated system. There's a lot of relays involved in this. We have a 4 wires on this motor here. We have a gray wire that's coming from a cooling fan relay number 5, and that actually gives us a ground. You can see once it's closed, it gives the ground to a cooling fan. And then we got these 3 red wires, and so one is coming from, this is getting power from a fusible link F 40 amp, and this other wire is I'm gonna turn this off. It goes to this cooling fan relay number 4, and then it goes up to another relay. That's a lot of stuff. So to make it easier, what we're going to check first, we're going to turn the AC on. The cooling fan on the left side will work, and then we're going to check a power on these 3 wires. We should have power on 2 red wires, and then we're going to check the gray wire. We should have a ground. Here's a fuse, this fusible link for this cooling fan number 2. As you can see, we have 4 wires. Actually, one is purple or pink, and got 2 red wires, and then we have a gray wire. Let's turn the car on, turn the AC on, and see what happens. So on this car I did replace the AC compressor. It was bad. You can see the cooling fan is working. It's kicking in and out on the driver's side, but nothing happens on the passenger side. Now let's go ahead. I got my test light connected to battery positive first. We're going to check that control gray wire, battery light, and the test light will look, and let's just see if we're going to have a control. I'm just going to wait for there you go. You can see momentarily the test light, the computer controls this. The car is cold. That's why the fans are not kicking in. But anyway, we have a control on that gray wire, so all those relays are working fine. The next one, we're going to check those 2 red wires for the power. We're going to connect our test light to battery ground. Check the test light again. Alright. Let's back the probe. One wire here, we got nothing. And the second red wire, we got nothing. So next thing I did, I checked the fusible link, and sure enough this thing is blowing. You can see we got a power here, or we don't have power here. Okay, so now we have maybe short, or maybe the cooling fans are bad. Now you don't want to just replace this. Is a fusible link. It's expensive. You don't want to just put another one in. It's going to blow again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my lab scope, check the amperage draw on the fan. I'm going to activate this lag here with my with my power probe, just for momentarily look for the draw and see what happens. I got my power probe ready. I'm going to give the power to that lag that goes to the cooling fan. I have my M clamp connected to one of the red wires. My setting of where the 10 millivolts is 1 amp, and I got my Vantage Pro ready to go. So we're gonna have to apply the power until the computer sends the ground to the gray wire to complete the circuit, and this is gonna take. It's not gonna take only a couple seconds, because my power probe is gonna kick off anyway, because it cannot support this much of a current, but it should give me enough data to figure out if I have a cooling fan problems. Or now the harness is pretty short, and this is a rebuild title car, so I was maybe concerning about the wiring being an issue, but being so close, you know, it's just like a foot long harness. Most likely we have a bad fan. Okay, so this fan is on right now. Let's see. That's the way for it. Okay, there you go, it tripped off. Alright, so let's go ahead and I did turn the fans on actually. Maybe I should see here. There you go. There's my cooling fan, and you can see it's kicking like 30 amps, almost 40 amps, but this fan is just shut. See how many? Let's just turn this a little bit this way. You can see it better. It has a dead commutator in it. It's pretty much dropping down to zero, and you can see that's pretty bad. And so we're gonna get new cooling fan, and then repeat the test. Where I got the cooling fans removed, it took me a little while to figure out how to do it. I got there's a module here that was sitting on the side. I got that removed at the brackets. I pulled this little fuse box up, removed the upper radiator hose. Also loosened up the dipstick, the transmission dipstick tube. I got the bolt at the bottom there. Let's see if you can see that there, and there was one bolt here. So this kind of gives you, because it's kind of sits like that, it's too close, so that gives you a little bit of room to maneuver. And this side, I just took the bracket off the AC hose, just kind of move it just a little bit to the side, and I was able to wiggle it out. First I was thinking to pull this bracket, got all these bolts removed. I was thinking to pull this back with the radiator. That didn't work, so I started removing all that, and it worked out okay. There's the old fan assembly. There's a new one, and let's put it back together. Everything is back together. I've got an amp clamp back on the same wire, and let's look at the current on the passenger side fan. You can see actually it's working right now. They're both working. The computer is changing the speed on it. Depends of the when AC compressor kicks in. Of course, got a new fuse link in it, and looking at the current, you can see it's pulling around 100 millivolts, which is actually 10 amps. Before we had a spikes over like 400 millivolts, which was 40 amps. And just do a couple more time, and then we're going to zoom out. You can see when the fan kicks in. And okay, now let's stop it, and then we're going to zoom out. There you go, there's the fan turns it on. We can actually lower the voltage scale to see it a little bit better, but it looks okay. See when it right there turns off. Let's go ahead and change this voltage scale, and let's go to 200 millivolts. And you can see there's a current. We're at the actually 80 millivolts right now, which is 8 amps. And let's go change this. Go up a little bit more. And it looks fine. Let's go with it. There you go, nice current on the cooling fan. Looks real nice. Okay, alright. Looking back at the diagram, I have to say I don't fully understand how this system is designed. It's quite confusing because there's a lot of relays. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's like a lot of relays involved in this system, and I don't really. So there's a cooling fan relay 3, relay 1, relay 2. Then ignition relay is involved, and then we have BCM relay, and then we have this cooling fan relays, this one here, and there's cooling fan 4. I mean, I don't even understand any of this, to be honest. But when you get to a diagram like this, a system like this, you don't have to always fully understand how does it work. I looked my fan, and I did see there's a gray wire, and I did see these 2 red wires here, and I of course needed a power from my fuse, and I did find that my fuse is blowing, and of course before you replace the fuse you need to figure out why the fuse is blowing. In this case, of course, it's a short, or it's the bad component. In this case was a bad cooling fan. You could see it was actually going up to 40 amps. That's 400 millivolts. Our scale on my current clamp is 10 millivolts equal 1 amp, which relates to 40 amps, which is actually maximum what this system is designed for. And now when I look at the gray wire, I could see that it's getting the ground. It's providing the ground for the relay. And by getting my test light battery positive, I could see that I'm getting the control. And so honestly, I don't know what this pink wire, I was thinking it's right, it's pink wire, and I don't even know what that wire is for, and quite honestly I don't really care, because it's just, you can spend a whole day trying to figure all this out. And but again, try to just look what you're missing. So that's the main point of all this. I mean, this is not that difficult, but it's not a, you know, the best video, but the point is find what you're missing. In this case I was missing the power feed. Now if I was missing the ground, the control from the then I will have to go through all these and see why I'm not getting got this control wire here going from this relay, and then this green wire here. I mean, it would be quite difficult to figure out why I'm not getting control, but simplify as the best you can. Look at the diagram and just go back to your components, see what part of you're missing the power and ground, and then you go with your diagnosis. Don't spend too much time trying to, I mean, you need to know how the system works, but look what you're missing. That is the whole point. Anyhow, that's it, guys. This one is fixed, and I was really pleased actually when I checked the gray wire, and when I could see I'm getting the ground. I said, thank Lord, because it would be a lot of mess trying to figure out what relay is not working the way it's supposed to. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.